Welcome back, I'm Tedward, and behind this big pile of mulch is the 2025 GMC Yukon Denali Ultimate. This new facelifted version is a little prettier and the interior has gotten some serious upgrades, and it also has night vision. However, this one comes in at $108,000. Now, this is the top of the line of the Yukon without the extended wheelbase, so you can get these in the high 60s if you're willing to forgo some of the plush luxuries of this Denali Ultimate. They've changed some things as well because now they've done away with the SLE and the SLT trims. Now we have Elevation, AT4, AT4 Ultimate, Denali, and Denali Ultimate. It gets a little confusing. However, if you take the time to look through all of the features that these offer, it'll become abundantly clear what's in your budget or what you need. Throughout the Yukon lineup, there are 3 available engine options. However, for the Denali and Denali Ultimate, you get the 6.2 liter naturally aspirated V8 standard. That's 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque, or you can option the 3-liter diesel, which we experienced in my Suburban video, which I actually really enjoyed, and I managed almost 30 miles per gallon out of that. So if fuel efficiency is your game and you're not so worried about 0 to 60 times, that can be a real peach. And all Denali and Denali Ultimates come with magnetic ride control. This one also has the air ride suspension springs, so that should smooth out any imperfection in the road, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this rides. However, one of the big features, other than all the nice fun illumination and choreography of the lights that they've offered in this facelifted version, it also has night vision, which I'm really excited to play with. There's a thermal camera in this, so that way we should be able to see little critters in the road or, in the fog. God forbid people. We should be driving a lot slower in that. But this is a really nice place to be, and it's always a wonderful thing. Now, I know it's difficult to see 6 figures in this truck, but when you get inside, they do offer quite a lot in the way of luxury. In fact, these front seats, of course, heated, cooled. You get the Bose integrated into the headrest. They're also 16-way adjustable and massaging. So don't feel like you're not getting what you pay for when you do buy these cars, because you do get some pretty serious luxury items, but it's up to you to determine whether that's for you or if you want to go to, a Mercedes or a BMW. Let's take a peek in the back if I can get it open. So this is the Shorty. You're not getting the extended wheelbase like you would as a Suburban or Yukon XL, but you still get reasonable space for stuff despite that third row being up. That is very easy to fold down and you get all that space. Gone are the days of 9-seater Yukons. This one seats 7, but lower trim levels where you get a bench in the middle can seat 8. And let's get it started so I can show you all of the functionalities of the middle row, because it's pretty nice back there in the facelift. Starting night vision here, we've got the neighborhood cat over in the garden. Unfortunately, we didn't catch him going in front of the night vision camera. All we've got is a pile of mulch. We'll get into that in a second. Let's jump into the middle row, because the Denali Ultimate has these 2 captain's chairs, which are quite cozy. This is a nice place to be if you were to be on a long road trip. And then down here, you've got your heated seats, 3 settings on each, and you can adjust your climate control as you'd like, which is really nice. I love having that as a rear passenger, especially when it's like a limousine. I don't like asking a driver to change the temperature. I just want to do it myself. Anyway, right here, we've also got these big tablet screens, which allow you to do different things, and you're able to access YouTube or HBO Max or Hulu, and then Bluetooth, GMC, headset down here, so that way everyone is occupied on the trip. Nice big moonroof covered in pollen. My apologies, there's just no helping it. It's pollen season. And in the third row, this is not quite a penalty box, but it's not the most comfortable place to be, but you do have plenty of legroom. It's just a very kind of small, flat feeling third row, nothing you wouldn't expect, and you do have a USB-C port on each side, so that way you're not eliminating your charging for those passengers as well. Down here, you've got USB-C ports for each of these outboard passengers and HDMI inputs, so you can adjust, or maybe that's not what you want to watch. You have your own device, you're able to do that. You're also able to check out the vehicle status. So kind of like a Maybach 57 has the speedometer in the back. You can actually see your speed, fuel range, and trip information. I don't know that you want your kids telling you, Dad, you're going 75 when it's 65. I don't know. And then let's get under the hood. I love that this running board deploys only on the side of the door that has opened, so it's not going on both sides. Gluing us to the road on these special Denali 24-inch wheels is a 285 section tire. I think I would prefer the smaller wheel just because, despite having air ride, it would be more comfortable and compliant with a little more sidewall. But here we are under the hood of the Yukon. This is the 6.2 liter V8, the L87, which is getting some attention that maybe they don't want it to be getting. They are recalling a lot of L87s, but up to 2024 model years is a 25. The reason I mention this is because they have cited it as a manufacturing defect, either on the crank or the piston. You can look up what they have said. But what we hope is that that is solved and that we're not going to see recalls on it for this model year. So we'll take a look at that as time passes, but so far so good on the 2025s. Inside, this is kind of where I start to really fall in love with these vehicles because the trim, everything just starts to feel really premium. These seats are ultra comfortable, they're very adjustable, and I have the ability to change my massage settings from a roll, a knead, a wave, a relief, glide. Like, honestly, I've got some back problems. This is much needed. I really appreciate this. Down here, I've got hotkeys with these piano buttons for my HVAC controls. That makes life pretty easy. And it still has Apple CarPlay. Let's go. Right here, great little cubby for some stuff, gadgets, or your sunnies. I like that, and a heads-up display. So let's take this out on the road by shifting it into gear with this bad boy. Always love to see a return to form on a column shifter or a real thing instead of some button situation. Button situations for shifters don't do it for me. This is nice, but honestly, let's just get the old school back. I don't need the night vision camera on right now, but I just love having the thermal camera up. I have got a friend who is the most insane Escalade on earth. It's one of the Team Champagne Ninjas cars, and he actually has a night vision camera on the roof, but it's not just any night vision camera. It's a FLIR night vision camera that came off the bottom of an Apache helicopter. It's military grade. It has since been decommissioned, and it is totally legal to have on the vehicle. But it is wild that in 2025, now you can just buy this, and it has night vision right on the display, all integrated. No need for any modification. It rips. It's actually pretty quick. I don't know that you need it to be this fast. And if you were looking more for the luxury and fuel economy side of things, that's where I think the diesel starts to play a really nice role in the lineup. And when you get to the highest end of the trim levels, it costs a lot less. So in lower trim levels, it's a pretty expensive option. In this, I believe it's only like $1,600 additional to the price of the vehicle because you're already spending a ton of money on the vehicle. But I just think it's a nice little trick up your sleeve if you don't want to spend the money on the fuel and you don't need the power. You still get great torque and incredible range and fuel economy out of that diesel. Maybe it'll be a green light day for us yet. And despite having 10 gears in this transmission, they do seem to be long gears. when we got on that acceleration, it wasn't like bang, 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 bang. It did seem to just kind of hold gear. So they must be somewhat long. I'll have to take a look at what those gear ratios are. But I don't think if you just put me in this and said drive for 5 minutes, do a launch, I'd really have to be counting to be recognizing that this had 10 speeds in it. Ride quality wise, it's not an Escalade. And I think that makes sense that it's not an Escalade. GMC is the sort of middler brand in the GM lineup, where you've got the Chevy Tahoe, and you've got this Yukon, then you've got an Escalade. And this is still a 6-figure truck. There's got to be something above it. Obviously, the technology and then Escalade is going to be better. You're going to have more creature comforts. I think I was expecting this to be a little softer. And it's possible that if you put me in like an AT4 with the smaller wheel, that might do the job in terms of dulling out some of the imperfections in the road. But it is very nicely insulated. It's incredibly windy out today. We've got like storms coming in. And I feel quite insulated from the world right now in my Yukon. Now that sound is something you're not going to get, unfortunately, out of that diesel. And I will say, having a V8 in your life is always better than not having a V8 in your life, unless you got to pay for the fuel. But anyway, we also have Super Cruise, which is phenomenal on the highway. It's their hands-free driving system, so you are allowed to not engage with the steering wheel whatsoever. You do have to look and pay attention because you are still liable and responsible for what the vehicle does. So be on your game in case something happens. You've got to take control. But it just takes away so much of the edge when you're on a long, long drive. You don't have to put all of your mental energy into driving. It does a lot of the work for you. And if we rotate through our screens, we're able to get lots of different information, which I like. But one of the nicest things is this map. It gives me my speedometer and all, critical information over here. But I also get this great map that's all through Google. And I can replicate it over here if I'd like as well. But this is good. I've always really appreciated this. I think Audi was the first to put this kind of thing in a mainstream vehicle that I can remember, at least. And, I just like that you can kind of set these up how you'd like and display whatever information seems important and pertinent to you as a driver. Ooh, look at the little K-truck on the left. Love to see it. Complete opposite of what this thing does. Let's jump off the highway and cruise the back roads back. Maybe stop at Dairy Queen for a blizzard. Feels like a thing to do in the soccer mom car. Definitely gunked up this windscreen, but I'm a little nervous to wash it because it's like, you never know if you're going to make it worse, but let's give it a shot. All right, it's something. feel like once you've got a night vision camera, it's tough to not have a night vision camera. I want this in everything. It's like, kind of doesn't even matter to me. Like, it's not influencing any of my driving decisions right now. I just really like it. It's hard to explain that. This Jeep really wants to go for it. He's just cruising in like third gear. Not really sure what he's up to. He's got an exhaust on it. I think one of my favorite things about these Suburbans, Tahoes, Yukons, you just don't have to put that much work into the steering. They don't fight you. The car isn't trying to pull itself off the road. And if you do have to make corrections, it's all pretty intuitive. You're not getting like a ton of feedback in terms of like, if you're on a racetrack, you're not ever going to do that. But it's not like some granular thing where I'm feeling all the texture of the road. But I do have a pretty good idea of what's going on through this wheel. And these are just so easy to drive. Something tells me this Jeep is full send. He's got a lot of noise in that old Grand Cherokee, but we're keeping up just fine. So, look, I think your needs, whether it's towing capacity, whether it's four-wheel drive, whether it's luxury, whether it's a comfortable suspension, it's going to dictate where you end up in this range, whether you're looking at Tahoe, Yukon, Escalade, and then from there you can narrow it down, and then you have to play this game of like, well, am I looking for like an off-road package? Am I this? Am I that? That'll help you figure out what trim level you're looking for, and obviously budget is a big one because you can swing between 67,000 and almost 110 grand on this one. So it's all up to you. You get to build your own adventure with these vehicles. And, I got to say, this is pretty nice. I think I need a sweet treat, and maybe we'll do a night drive later so we can really get a taste of this night vision camera when it's dark out. So thank you guys so much for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Don't forget to respect the drive, and I'll see you in the next one.